filed 15 minutes before the deadline. You should have seen the look on staff's face. They looked over that form with meticulous eyes.
Sure.
And I said, "Is there a problem?" And she goes, "Oh no, I see you already have the signature certified." So they couldn't deny it, man.
Wonderful.
So yeah.
James, you know Jeff? Jeff Fisher? He's with the Democrat Party.
Hey Jeff.
How's it going?
Doing good.
Good, good, good.
By the time we're done with him, he'll get converted.
Or he'll convert.
Yeah, turn around, reach down at your knee. And that is the Oregon Health Authority's form to sterilize children ages 15 to 20 without parental consent. Now I have a federal form that Obama just approved, and it says as young as 12. The medical terminology would be from menarche to menopause, so any childbearing woman. And these guys are saying they are the party of women. Give me a break.
Yeah, really.
Okay? So... You ever been here?
Never been here.
Let me show you something.
Sure. Take my tour. I would like to tour the neat house. Oh, brother.
So how expensive is Montessori anymore?
Well, let's see. It's setting us back about $1,500 a month.
How much?
$1,500 for two boys. It was definitely not the cheapest option that we had, but it was definitely the best. So it's one of those things where you don't want to sort of spare expenses with your children and things like that. You basically sacrifice a date night, here and there, and you just go and you.
My cars are 14 and 18 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just say, okay, well, that's why they make duct tape.
Yeah, right. Right.
Hi there. Hi. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good to see you.
Good. Come and say hi.
Okay, well, good. Good. There's some coffee there and some cookies and stuff. You doing okay?
Great. Doing good.
Good. Good.
Calling you for a little while.
There you go. I see you on Facebook all the time.
Okay.
And you make some nice comments. I appreciate it.
My name's Matt.
This is Jeff Fisher behind you. Jeff is with the Democrat Party. It's Matt.
How's it going?
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
And this young lady here, she helps me a lot too. This is her dad's place. So.
Oh, okay.
So,
Very good.
I'll grab some refreshments.
Okay.
And sit there. I think somebody else is coming.
I should move so I wasn't blocking the food.
So, how's business for you now?
Oh, pretty good. I work with senior and disability services, so I work with our.
This one's dead. So how's that working?
Oh, pretty good. I basically work with low-income disabled and seniors and stuff. I saw other people working with it. I saw that you mentioned that as far as benefits and trying to restore.
Right. Yeah. I really think that's important. I mean, we're a rich enough country. We ought to be able to utilize our natural resources to be able to take care of that growth. When you look at the senior citizens, you look at the children. Those are two groups that are really captive in their environment. So we should do something there to push that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it says a lot about your society.
Yeah. So, just got a couple months down home stretch here coming up.
Yeah, it's what, 60 days, I guess, huh? Is that what it amounts? Jeff, is that what we got? 60 days left?
Oh God, I don't.
Today.
I think
Today's
it's
9/6.
Yeah, I think it's 62 62 days? 61 days.
The 61 days?
Close.
Oh.
So what are your plans for the next 2 months? Are you gonna be?
Well, you know,
full steam ahead, or?
I think this is the 4th thing I've done today. So, and then I got down last night, 10 o'clock, I got a couple things last night. And, every day there's 2 or 3 things, and then there's a couple things in between. The reporter, well, I got a call from a reporter in, North Carolina who wanted to interview me, so we did that. And then tomorrow I've got a forum with Salem City Club. Oh, you heard that on Joe?
Yeah, I heard that.
I hope it doesn't sound too crazy.
I think Kevin Gross just fine.
So I was on Laura's show last week when I came back from Tampa. I got in my car there around 2 o'clock, and he was talking about these. So I pulled off the road, got underneath an overpass, because you know you're going to sit there for 10 minutes waiting for him. And so he talked to me, and I talked about what I saw with Eastwood and at the convention. And I went with my, with no preconceived ideas. I just wanted to go there, and, I got elected, so I had to represent the people, of course, and then work hard, and that's what I did. Didn't get much sleep, by the time you get a bus ride back, it's 2 in the morning, and then take a shower and jump in bed, and then I'm the first one up, so I'm up, and I'm downstairs by 7:30, and people don't show up till 8:30 or 9.
You're ready to go.
I got a phone call. They had 5 computers at the hotel, so I didn't take mine, so I could just get on those computers and look at my stuff.
So what was it like being in there?
It was, some days I went real early because I had some meetings, and so I just walked over there, and it was real quiet. And then, towards 6:30, 7 o'clock, the crowd started rolling in. And then, the speakers started coming in and started doing that stuff. And then it just gets, you feel like you're one of the sardines on a sardine can. Because it's packed pretty tight on the floor.
Everyone's got good security. Oh, just to get in there is all.
And you had to have, you had to have the right credentials to get on the floor. And when you did that, they would, you take your seat, they would hand out all kinds of banners and things like that for you to hold up in the air at the right time. It was, what you see on TV is exactly the way it is, except it's real noisy. And, but it's a real party type atmosphere. A lot of, anybody that's a celebrity that you've ever seen, political celebrity, are there. They're just walking around. I talked to Andrea Mitchell.
I heard you mention that on the radio. Yeah.
And they had a nice conversation with her, and talking about some women's issues. And it was just.
They're all just there, fairly successful, some of them anyways, yeah.
And it gets a little tiring, keep up with it all, but sure. It's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. It was pretty electrifying, just, seeing some of the big speakers and just, that'd be so much fun to see all that happening.
Matt Condoleezza Rice was just hit out of the party. Suzanne Martinez.
Oh, I loved hearing her speech.
Oh,
It was pretty fun to listen to.
She was just incredible. And Marco Rubio was, my God, how talented is that guy? And then, we had, I didn't care too much for the Jeb Bush deal, but he was more defending his brother.
Right, yeah.
And maybe beating his brother up, so that's what brothers do, I do the same thing for my brother. It's funny how brothers work. You can beat up the brother, you don't want anybody else to beat up on him. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I kept everything. I'm going to have it all framed. Just because it's one of those once in a lifetime things, you know, that you do. You know, I thought I'll just take everything down and get it framed up.
Oh, sure, well, something will never
They
forget.
had a camera there, and they asked us one day. You know, they said this camera was built in the 1920s. It was a big camera, and they brought it around and they photographed the whole thing, and they didn't want anybody to move, and it took about, I think they said about 5 minutes, so don't move for 5 minutes. So everybody stood still, and the thing scanned it, and then I guess it is available on their website. You can purchase it, which I want to buy that picture because you know, I guess it's like something you see at a football stadium.
Oh, okay.
When they take those pictures, you know, and it's 90,000 people sitting there. So I don't, you know, maybe I'll be able to see myself. But I was on TV about 3 times. When they did the Alabama count, they were right behind us.
So you got
So I got that shot, and I looked up and I said, "Oh boy, smile," you know. And I started getting text messages from Arizona and California from my brother and Oregon. People were seeing me on TV. So
what are you doing in Alabama?
So it was Arkansas in front of us, Alabama behind us.
Where were you guys at on the floor compared to?
Well, if you was standing at the podium, we would be about the 9:30 spot. Okay, you're looking at that way, 12 being straight ahead. We'd be about 9:30.
How far back were you?
There was Washington, Arkansas, Oregon, and then Alabama behind us. And I don't think there was anybody behind Alabama. The ones that were in the corner, Kansas was way over in the corner, and a couple of the other ones, so we weren't as they were. Tennessee had a pretty good spot. You know, they were kind of on the rope line when Romney came down. Some of those, Michigan had the best spot, they were right in the spot.
Well, yeah, all the swing states can be more upfront, of course. They pay attention to most, of course.
So that's how that works. So.
Wow, very exciting.
I probably won't be able to do that again, you know, but I thought, well, you know, you gotta let.
Yeah, the opportunity and.
I went for it, you know. It was about, I think it cost me about $2,500.
Oh, just about stay and everything.
Hotel was about $1,300, and the airfare was about $700.
$1,300, wow.
Yeah.
Well, they could charge a lot because.
$200 a day.
Wow.
Some people are paying $300 a day.
You were like a good 45 minutes out too. You're still
Yeah, we went both. And so you know, but the way Tampa is designed, it's more of a swim beach thing, and of course those arenas, you know, that they have ice hockey and they have baseball. They're on the other side of the bridge on an island.
So, what's your first step? What would you do?
What, in Congress? Well, I want to get our timberland back in our hands, right? So that's one of the first things I want to do. And I mean, we're looking into what we need to do to make that happen. If you look in the western United States, they own a lot of state land. So one of the things I want to do is meet with the other representatives, collectively see if that's on their agenda, numbers of springs, and see what we need to do to put in a bill to start that initiative process. Of course, I would like that in order to build that, and then meet with all the county commissioners and public forums. started with the fifth professional and then work with the Oregon delegation to see if everybody has appetite for that. Make it happen. So we gotta start that process.
Yeah, my wife actually works for the Forest Service for the federal government, so I definitely have some familiarity with it. I mean, a lot of land in Oregon is owned, a lot of forest type land is owned by the federal government. There's a lot of restrictions that are placed upon it. I know she's been personally frustrated with it quite a bit because of the inability to access a lot of the timber. I mean, there's very limited opportunities to actually harvest any of the timber, and because of that, what happens is that a lot of the forests get built up pretty densely, and when there's forest fires, it burns a lot more, and actually ends up losing some of the timber over time because of fires, because they don't get harvested at all. So it's actually a benefit, I think, to actually do at least some harvesting, at least to thin it out some, because when there's so much clumped together and a lot of undergrowth underneath, it just burns, and that's just a big waste right there, and they lose it anyways, so.
Yeah, you know, when I worked for Georgia Pacific, we would cut a tree and plant three, and the deer would eat one. So we have more timber today than we had over 100 years ago. Now we're not even cutting at a sustained yield. So we are, you know, really the fir trees are weak, to be honest with you. You know, it comes up on its own. And so if you're not going to harvest, it, then you end up having an unhealthy forest. I mean, animals can't move, it gets overgrown, just like you said, the underbrush takes over. And then you have a real issue there. Like having blackberry growing in your backyard, you know, you don't do something once in a while.
It just takes it over, yeah.
They take it over. So, you know, they went down this road of, you know, thinking that we don't need to do that, you know, and what we're doing is we're just really hurting our economy, you know, we're doing everything. We shut down 300 mills.
There are so many different counties and stuff. Yeah,
I was looking here in the paper. Dallas Sawmill sold at auction. And it closed 3 years. They can't get any timber.
yeah.
Can't get any timber.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest reason why they can't access the federal forest land is because of environmental protection. That's the number one reason why. That's just how they.
What are we protecting?
What we're protecting exactly, but a lot of it.
We needed coffee, I got coffee, fresh coffee.
Hey, good.
Hi, I'm
Good.
Jack out there.
Yeah, my name is Matt.
Matt, what's it? Can I get here? Yeah, I'm used to putting it there.
I'm good at the moment. Thank you, though.
So, you know, I mean, okay, we protected the forest now, right? Now it's so overgrown and now it's become a danger to the whole state. And so what do we do now? We just let it burn up? Let it, what's the plan? Doing nothing is not a plan.
Yeah, it would be, anything that would change to that, obviously we'd have to have a Republican administration, number one, ready to change. I think a lot of that would probably have to get changed at that level, I would think, but I'm not sure. You think a bill would be able to?
We need to change ownership. We need to put it in local control, county, and allow the counties to utilize it. That's how we used to get the revenue for the schools and the police. And now, you know, they just get a check from Washington D.C. and the forest is becoming a hazard.
So that's a big thing for Oregon, that's for sure.
Well, look, we're a natural resource state. I mean, when you think about what we have here as far as mining, fishing, farmland, forestry, I mean, to solve our problems are right here, right underneath our feet. We just have to have leadership, both from the federal and from the state level, in order to access that and say, you know, enough is enough. You know, we're not going to clear cut the state. You know, we're not going to do that. But what we need to do is have a balanced approach to this. We don't want I don't want dirty air. I don't want dirty water. I don't want that. But I also don't want to, you know, we're importing 40% of our timber today. And It's like Saudi Arabia has 40% of their oil. What's the purpose of doing that?
Yeah, it's gotta come through somewhere.
Well, you know, I mean, where's the balance here? You know, they said the timber companies took it all over. Now the environmentalists have taken it all over, so we went from one extreme to the other. And the ones in the middle, the family, 44,000 of them are the ones that have paid the price.
It's affecting whole towns.
And whole towns. And so you look at, for every timber job, there's 5 or 6 jobs that support that. A gas station, real estate offices, doctors.
Oh, it's a domino effect.
And it affects them. That's what we got going here. And so we have 2 extremes that are not working together, and that's what happens in Washington, D.C., by the way. I mean, there's nobody that's just really stepping forward and saying, let's just, we're all Americans, let's stop all this red versus blue, black versus white, rich versus poor, male versus female. Let's get over that. I mean, we're supposed to be educated.
So why do you think the timber issue really hasn't been addressed a whole lot? Even
No
you never hear about it.
There's no leadership. There's no leadership. Special interests are controlled by the politicians. You know, they have. You know, really, what a politician really wants is money, right? To get reelected, because that's all I have heard now since I've been running for office. How much money do you get? It's all about money. They don't ask you about your background. They don't ask you about your ideas. They don't ask you about what you're going to do. They don't ask you about anything. All they want to know is how much money you have. You know? So that's when the newspaper reports. What do? They look how much money you have. When you know, that's all they talk about is money. Well, you know, do you buy the job? Do you write a check to become a congressman? What's it cost? $3 million. I mean, if you take Kurt Schrader, for instance, you know, he spends over $1 million. Sometimes it costs $2 million every 2 years. You know, I think he had $1.1 million in his coffer. When he ran against Scott, he had $1.7 million. I mean, my gosh, you know how many people we can feed with that? You know how many scholarships we can buy with that? You know how much good that we can do with that kind of money? And we're buying yard signs, feed consultants, making TV commercials, radio commercials, trying to collect more money and doing all this stuff. Well, what about the issues? You know, and everybody says, Fred, are you spending 90% of your time collecting money? I said, no, I spend 10% of my time collecting money. I spend 90% of my time talking to people, whether it's on the street. I don't have to have a forum. I meet people on the street. I drive everywhere. I stop and talk to people and walk the streets, hold signs up. I mean, it's about the people. Now, you know, obviously I'm going about it wrong, but I have never followed the path that someone else has laid. I always had evaluated myself and said, this is what we need to do. I want to, Jeff, can you have me my briefcase here?
Absolutely, yeah.
I was in an Echo forum just the other night in Portland. Okay, and they were talking about, you know, the environment. And I said, well, look, I've been doing the environmental stuff, you know, my lifetime, my whole lifetime. I mean, we had an organic dairy before I knew that we had an organic dairy. We used cow manure as fertilizer. My grandfather, you know, would plant certain types of in a family garden, certain types of plants and put certain types of bugs, ladybugs and alfalfa fields for once, you know, and doing these kind of things in order to control the environment. We didn't have the money for, you know, Roundup, but we did what we could naturally do. And then in my career, I modernized the first wood products mill in the United States. Remember they used to have a wigwam burner? You know, the old trash burner? They were in the design of a wigwam. A big screen on top, and they used to burn the wood wick. Well, we took the top off of that, so we got a 6-inch gas main going in on veneer dryers to dry veneer. So why don't we just put a top on this burner, which is a heater, and pipe that into the dryer and shut off the natural gas? So we did that. And then we put a wet scrubber to capture the blue haze coming off the dryer, because when you cook something, you got some moisture coming off, you got some DLCs coming off. They call it blue haze. And we captured that. We cooled that air down and captured the particulate in that, and just steam comes out the top. So we did that. We did that in the 70s, right? So then I had an opportunity to go to Canada and take wheat straw that they normally burn, because wheat, you know, wheat grows on about a 2.5 to 3 foot stalk, you know, and they just take the head off of it, right? So they take the head and they got the straw. Well, let's take that straw and put it with a binder, and let's make a composite panel out of it for the furniture industry, for cabinets, that stuff. So that's what we did. I have a desk at home that my oldest son does his homework on. That's made out of wheat straw.
Yeah.
And so I showed this the other night in Portland, and I said, look at this. This is a bowl. This isn't, it could be a collection bowl for my campaign, but it's not. And then this is made out of wheat straw. Now, how green is this? You know, it became a revenue for the farmer, because now he had something that was a cost to him, and now he's getting some money for it. We'd buy the straw, and we would get 400,000 tons of straw. And we had a logistics problem, because straw comes right all at the same minute. Not like the timber industry, you can go cut a tree anytime you want. And this, you need to harvest this thing, you need to get after it and harvest it. So it became a logistics problem. So here we are. So, you know, here's something that done that.
Greg, I got a split.
Okay, all right.
Congratulations.
All right, I'll see you. So, you know, we did that. Now, in a plywood plant years ago, we took the stormwater coming off the roof. By the way, this is that straw board facility.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so here it is when they take a board, and then, you know, we capture it, move it in, and, you know, put it in. It was $160 million as manufacturing, and then we made product of it. So can't get any greener than that, right? And so we did that. So we did that, and so on a plywood plant, we'd catch our rainwater, and we would use that in our resin beds, because water was expensive. Even in Oregon, it's expensive. So we capture that water, put it in our glue mix, and we'd make glue out of it. The air, we would clean our air out. You know, we didn't have any, I mean, we don't want to live with raining particulate down, you know, like you would when you burn a pile of wood out there, and we have all the ash comes off, we capture all this. So we've been doing this. In fact, if you want to really get down to it, when you look at environmental responsibility, the wood products industry is probably, in my opinion, one of the most progressive industries in the history of industry. Because we went from the old sawmill to high-tech. Now you got to have a master's degree working a sawmill. And we utilize everything out of the tree but the shade.
Well, it's become much more enhanced how you do harvesting.
There's robots
It's
now.
all used properly and not
Yeah.
wasted. And, yeah.
Yeah, we utilize everything but the shade. Everything out of the tree but the shade. And you go down to Roseburg Forest Products, they got robots in there. Now, if I take a 2x4 and I throw it on the ground, it's going to decompose and go back in the earth. But I take this and throw it on the ground, I'm going to contaminate the earth. So what is more environmentally correct?
Right. It's whatever's renewable.
Is Intel more environmentally correct than a sawmill? No, not at all. Not at all. And if you look at the history of our civilization, we've utilized wood products since before Noah built the ark. And we will continue to use them after Nike's gone, Intel's gone, and Starbucks is gone. That's just the way it is. Because when my wife was in architecture school, one of the things they taught them is about what drives the human desire for certain things. And one is nature. And we have wood or simulated wood in our lives all the time. Whether it be a laminate, or whether it be flooring, or whether it be a chair, or whatever it is, and even in our cars. If it's not wood, it looks like wood. because psychologically we want to be connected to nature.
Mhm.
So wood is really part of our DNA, so to speak. Right? And then when you look at the pioneers who came to Oregon, and when they came over the Cascade Mountain Range, what did they see? They saw farmland, they saw water, and they saw natural resources. Trees, farming land, whatever they needed to do. So, you know, it is part of who we are, and we need to embrace it. And the policies that we have today on both sides of the aisle is absolutely wrong. It's absolutely wrong. But if you take the 2 senators and the 5 congresspeople we have in Oregon and combine them, all 5 of them don't have the hands-on experience that I have in the wood products industry. You know, and I can show videotapes where Rockwell International came out to the plywood plant that I had in Eugene, Oregon, and videotaped it in the mid-'80s because it was so revolutionary into the industry what we did. I could actually turn the mill on from my house 19 miles away, but the problem was the update time in the computers was 2.5 minutes. So I didn't have real time there, you know, and I could have burnt the mill down. Well, I could observe what was happening in the mill from my computer. But today, you know, today we have high-speed computers and things like that Intel has developed for us, another company. And it has provided us the opportunity to look at our manufacturing processes and eliminate the environmental issues that we have. You know, so that's enhanced the industry. That's enhanced the industry. We need to embrace the industry. And who can articulate that story? Well, it's not being articulated today. You know, they're kind of working around the fringes on the thing, but they're not really addressing the issue is, let's put it in the hands of the people who know best, and that's Oregon.
The only thing that's really been addressed, the whole issue is just, I mean, I think it's since it stopped, it's basically just sending checks to various counties and stuff that have been affected the most, but has in that sense stopped, or is that still going on?
It's a year by year now.
It's a year by
Okay,
year.
it's a year by year. You know, a couple of the counties are virtually going bankrupt, and I think a couple of congressmen got together and the senators and I think Wyden did that and got them a reprieve. Okay, put enough money in the coffer so they can live 1 more year, but that's no way. That you can't build a future on that.
It's not a job solution at all.
No, it's not a solution. You take a young person like yourselves, and you're working for the county or the government or whatever, and you say, well, we got enough money for a year. Maybe I ought to sharpen up my resume and get ready because I don't know if I'm going to get it next year. And so you start eroding the talent in your organization. And we do need government. People think that this thing can run on automatic. You're crazy. You know, really it takes about 1/3 of the people to keep 2/3 of the people killing themselves. So that's what we really do need, the government agency. How big? I don't know, but I think it should be efficient, you know. And I think we need to take a lot of the special interest money that you're seeing, you know, they call crony capitalism, and take that out of the works, and let's just have real dialogue and people that really want the best for America. And if you really do follow the money trail, you'll find out that it is a corrupting force. I was talking to a guy about this last night, and he said, "Fred, you sound like a Democrat." And I said, "No, I'm an American. I'm an American who wants to solve the problems, okay? I don't care what party you belong to. I'm interested in solving the problems. I mean, Jeff over here has 2 little sons, fine sons, okay? They're just starting school. They're just starting their lives, you know, and you put 20 or 30 years on their life, you know, I'm pushing daisies, you know, I'm off the planet, but they got a whole life. And so, you know, with this debt, how are they going to have a life? You know, I worked in Canada and paid 65 or 70% of my income to the government. I didn't have much money to do the kind of things that I need to have. So, you know, you need to look at that. And I grew up with an older brother with polio in his right arm. So I seen that he needed health care. I seen that he needed a safety net to kind of get him on his feet. And we need to do that. But there was a lot of people that gave charity to allow him to get the operations he needed at Shriners Hospital to give him a life. And thank God they did that. you know? And part of being an American is charity.
Yeah, what I was
It's not mandatory, it's charity.
Yeah, but what has happened over time, it all started, I think, with the New Deal, and then going forward, what happened is that people rely for their health, they rely less and less on charity and rely more and more upon government to help them with whatever their needs are. I work for the government, and so there's definitely some needs that I see every day, but what do you do for the government? I work with senior disability services, social work, so.